Good morning. Happy Saturday. It is 11:15 in the morning, if you could call it morning still. I am here with Fun Fold number 5, and I'm going to show you how to do it 2 different ways. So I'm Nicole with Equally Creative by Nicole. I hope you get a chance to see this last Fun Fold for this week's Fun Fold event. Basically 5 days of in colors, each one showing a new Fun Fold for you to try at home. The description should have my stamp sets listed in there and how you can get a kit of all 5 cards sent right to your door. All right, so I am going to move on over and share my favorite one with you. So I saved the best for last, and I was kind of hoping that, all this goo would be gone, and it's not. So bear with me. I'm still a little, foggy in the brain, but again, I hope the inspiration is enough to get you creating. If you are out and about enjoying this beautiful spring weather, then I hope you'll catch me on the replay, and I'll see you soon. So let's go ahead and move on down. So here is version 1 of our card. It is super, super simple, and I'll explain any differences for our next one, okay? And I want to share one item that is available right now, which is this Perennial Postage bundle. These are the dies. This is retiring soon, but it is currently available online. And I just wanted to show that to you. So in the event that you were shopping today, you would snatch this up. I cannot believe they didn't carry this over, because this right here, I just, chef's kiss, right? Fabulous. These dies have been like a staple. And then these are multiple sentiments. We're actually going to use this here for you always, which will coordinate for what we're going for. Here is the stamp set that will be coming out May 1st. If you are a demonstrator, you can get this early. And this one also has dies that go with it. I have not put these on a magnetic sheet yet and attached them, but we're actually going to use this giant floral die today. So that'll be excellent. I'm going to just stick that back in there so I don't misplace it on my table. But you can see we have happy anniversary, you make my heart smile, grateful for you, and God bless. We've got some cute little extra elements right here, so that makes it a little bit fun as well if you are going to add any decorations to your envelope or the inside of your card. So again, here is the first version. The first version is a nice, simple, fun fold, very similar to a couple of the others. This has our stamp set, is our feature, as well as some amazing designer series paper. So I want to share with you this designer series paper. You love something enough that you redesign a card and you make sure you have a belly band so that you can add a whole nother paper to the mix, right? So let's show you what this looks like. Again, everything is double-sided, so we'll start here. This is this double-sided paper. And I know some people are saying that like the boho country shabby chic is kind of outdated, but I'm still buying it. I love it. I have something like this in my camper. I need to replace it at this point because it's been a few years and it's starting to peel on the edges, but I'm going to redo it with something similar. And again, I'm still buying it, and it still looks great in my opinion. So remember that you buy what you like, buy for yourself. And if you like it, what's the problem, right? All right, so this is another one. I mean, look at this. I love antiques. I love old things, weathered things. This is just fabulous for me. That's all. Obviously, I love it. You can get this right now if you're a demonstrator. You can put this on a demonstrator order. If you want to become a demonstrator, you can put this in your starter kit. I know I don't talk about it very often, but most of our demonstrators are just hobbyists like myself, or like I started, I should say. Not everybody turns it into a business. I just think these papers are so gorgeous. So again, hobby demonstrators are just people who do this a little bit. They don't go as crazy as I do with classes every single week. They may never hold a class. I have team members who literally just buy for themselves, create for themselves, and enjoy their discount. So consider how much you scrapbook, how much you use designer series papers or double-sided papers of any kind. Do you want color coordination? Our company is fabulous for that. And this week has been all color coordinated around our in colors. So every year we have 5 new in colors. And today we're going to talk about Shy Shamrock, which is this beautiful green color here. And we're going to make one of these. So your card base is going to be a 4 1/4 by 11. And on this card, you would cut off 1 3/4 inches for this right here. But the second card that we're going to make today is actually going to be a gift card holder. And so we're going to score at 1 3/4 instead. So we're not cutting this off, we're just scoring. And you could do a little bit more. I think I'm going to move it over to 2 inches just to give a card a little bit of extra space in there. It will not change anything on the front of our card. But now that that's scored, I'm going to fold this in. I'm going to notch a little corner out here so that my big old fingers would be able to get a, see, I don't know if I can do this one, a card in and out. Here we go. So you can see I'm just using the oval punch that I used in yesterday's card. And I'm just punching a little piece out so that when our gift card is in here, you can still slide that card out. Okay. The best way to do this is with tear and tape or glue. I like the tear and tape because I have a little more control over where it goes. Put this aside for a moment. Excuse me. So I am just going to use my tear and tape and put this on the edge. And I just kind of use my fingernail to hold that down so that I can tear it at the end. And that is exactly why it is called tear and tape, because you are tearing away the end. And then we will be able to tape this down. Okay. So I like to kind of just press this down a little bit, and then I'll be able to pick up this edge and pull that off. We'll do the same over here. And now I will fold this up, and I have a gift card slot right here ready to go. So that is how this differs from this one. So this, we just cut off 1 3/4. On this one, I went ahead and did a 2-inch score mark and folded that in. So I will be trimming just a teeny tiny piece of our front DSP. So when I give you measurements, remember, if you're making this and you're folding it in, you're going to want to adjust your pieces as well. So I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, just a quarter sheet of thick white, basic white cardstock. That'll be for our flower in a moment. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 for this inside layer, place to sign, a place to add a sentiment if you wish. Okay. And then I have a 2-inch piece of our designer series paper right here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to this inside piece. It gives me a nice boundary and guideline as to where I want to put the edge of this. So I'll push that all the way to the edge here, and the top and the bottom. Again, that just ensures that it is going to be nice and straight as possible, which, you know, is not always possible when you are working with paper or wood for that matter. If you've ever tried to do some cutting with wood, that doesn't always happen straight. We're going to center this right in here. So we have that perimeter around there. Okay, so that is what this inside looks like. Now, I have left the inside of this one blank, but on this one, I did use the happy anniversary from the stamp set. So I have an anniversary card ready to go. Now, because I trimmed this, so you can see that I added the gift card holder here, and we're actually, I'm going to make a note that I did this at 2 inches. And then our front DSP is 4 by 3.5, but I am going to have to cut this to 4 by 3¼ because that is going to give us that distance that we want here. So let's trim this down. Of course, the 4 is the top to bottom distance, and I'm just going to put this on the 1/4 mark and trim that off. So now when I add this back, I will still have that beautiful Shamrock border around that edge. Let's go ahead and adhere this piece as well. And again, I'm showing you multiple sides of the DSP. This is probably my favorite one. So now here is where we're going to get a little bit different. So on this one, you would use the green piece that you cut off, the Shamrock that you cut off. You're going to turn it so that it is horizontal, and you'll adhere it to the left front panel of the card so that it is centered across your card. We're going to go a little different for this one. I have cut a 2-inch slice of another favorite here, and we're going to turn this one into a belly band because we do not want this opening and having our card slip, slide, fall out, any of that business. So we're going to create a belly band to hold this one closed. And I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the edge here to hold this closed. A belly band is just that. It's a band that goes around your card and holds it closed. You want it loose enough that they can still slide it off, especially if there's a little bit of a gift card thickness in there. And we will move on from there. All right, so this is the bulk of our card finished for this one. We will add some twine in a moment, and we will get our stamping underway. So I'm going to set this one aside. So we are going to use this giant stamp, and because it is so big, I'm actually putting the stamp down. Staring at this in the face. Okay, so I grabbed my silicone sheet just so that it's not clashing on the glass mat while I do this. I'm going to hold this down, but I'm going to pounce this Memento ink pad all over this stamp because my stamp is larger than the pad. It's easier to move this pad around. And I am closing it just to get it out of my way. And then I turned this so that it fits all the way on this. I'm just pushing it down. I want to make sure that it has even pressure. I'm not rocking anything, so I'm not going to get this ink over here on there. And if I did, it's going to be cut off anyway. So for this particular activity, it's not a big deal. So there is our beautiful image. Okay, let's move this one out of the way now. And let's go ahead and do our other pieces. I am afraid to wear this ink, however, so there we go. All right, so I'm going to open this back up, and we're going to use this Here For You Always. If you notice, this is a little bit larger than this strip that I have. My goal is to do the Here For You, and then I'm going to do the Always in our Shy Shamrock color. So I'm going to do this in 2 parts. It is going to get on the matte background here. You could use a scrap sheet of paper if you want. So I'm basically moving this over to the edge because I'm trimming these words out. I'll find a nice clean side of this here. Okay, so you can see how that chopped off. That's too blurry. Okay, and then I'm going to wipe this off so I don't get it all over me. And then I'm going to clean off the stamp. And I'm going to stamp again in the Shy Shamrock. And then I'm making sure that I have the Always on the big part here. Okay, so we have these 2 pieces that we will cut and add to our image in a moment for our message. Okay. All right, I'm going to close these up and move them out of the way because I'm not in the mood to wear these ink colors today. All over my body anyway. All right, so I am going to pull out my Stampin' Blends. I used Pretty in Pink. I actually used a good deal of them. I don't think I used Summer Splash in the original. I think I'll leave Summer Splash out again. But you could absolutely use this paper with Summer Splash because it really blends nicely. All right, so this is what I would call the boring part if you're not a coloring fan. So I like to start with my largest pieces. I don't know, you don't have to, it's just how I do it. And I start with my lighter color, and I am just going to fill in all of these flowers. I didn't even do any ahead of time to have the magic of video here. So you're going to see this in real time today, how long it takes to color this. I'm looking at 11:34 and I just started coloring. So we'll kind of, if I remember, we'll check the time at the end. And I'm coloring this whole thing with the wide end of the brush, going over all of it. I'm not a coloring perfectionist person. I do not have any extra training other than growing up. I loved Crayola. I loved coloring. I loved having a large box of crayons. I watch others color and they are fabulous. So there are people out there who are really, really great at this part and make their flowers look so realistic. Mine are not. I say there are no card police, so please feel free to use your creative judgment as you wish. So now I am going to add some shadowing with the darker one. So just places where there would naturally be some darker areas, I'm throwing in a little bit of color. There's no other rhyme or reason to it. You know, letting the inspiration come from the lines that are already here from the artist, knowing also that towards the bottom of the flower is going to be a shadow. Insides would be darker than the outside. Other than that, there's no magic other than the blends. Again, this is real time. I did not create an extra one to swap out. Let's see, I'm gonna add the peach pie to these little, I don't know, they almost look like a daisy kind of flower. So again, I'm starting with the lighter color and I will fill in with some darker colors. You do not even have to color this all the way in. You can just do some dots. Because remember, this is not, it's just line art and it is not realistic. So it doesn't have to be super perfect. And it's fun to just add little extra bits here and there. So now I'll go back and I'm going to add in some little dark shadows towards the insides. If I wanted to use pebbled path, I could turn these into 4 o'clocks, or not 4 o'clocks. What am I thinking of with the dark centers? Again, foggy brain, have no words at the moment. And then the rest is green of some nature. So you can just kind of go in with some of these colors, light and dark. You can blend them in the end. You can see I'm just kind of going over the lines. Let's see. I have the light one in my hands, so I'm actually going to color more of the leaf with the light one so I can go back over with the dark one for the stems and the veins of the leaf. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. This is one area of my life that I enjoy not being perfect. So many other things have to have T's crossed, I's dotted, and red tape secured. So, you know, this is one area where I get to just kind of be a free spirit. I still put parameters on myself, which gets frustrating even for myself. But if you struggle with needing control in your life, you can color too. Just be a free spirit. Okay, so that is all the light Shy Shamrock, and now let's do some dark Shy Shamrock. So again, I'm just going to kind of trace the artist's lines. Just add a little bit of shadowing in here. So we have been coloring for about 4 minutes. Again, if coloring stresses you out, you would use an alternate strategy here. It does not have to be colored in like this. You can use some ink spots and just have a watercolor effect in the background. You could stamp this on a beautiful colored piece of cardstock. It doesn't have to be all colored in like this. So I think I'm gonna do those little twirls. All right, I think that is good. So less than 5 minutes of coloring. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. And now I'm going to move things out of the way so we can die cut this image here. Again, because of the size, we will need the larger Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And we will need our base plate, our die cutting piece here, and then our cutting plates. And I set that aside so I wouldn't misplace it. I tend to use washi tape to hold these on, so that is what I will do here. Should turn it in the right direction so that it'll work. Use 2 pieces just so it doesn't twist and turn at all, hopefully, while I am sending it through the machine. All right, then we'll put our top layer on and run this through. And here we have that beautiful centerpiece of this card. So get this out of the way so I don't misplace it. And let's finish up this wonderful gift card holder. All right, so this is going to cover the seam just like that. But before we get there, we're going to add a little bit of adhesive on the left hand side here, and I just pulled a bit of twine and just kind of made it loopy, a little bit like myself when I'm on cold medicine. Again, like a little figure 8 bow looking piece here. And that's just going to stick out from behind those flowers, give us a little added texture to the card itself. So now I'm going to put this on some dimensionals. And so let's see. Pull you up. So I'm going to do my dimensionals mostly in the center here, making sure that it will be covered on here. Make sure we don't stick to our card front. Awesome. And then it looks like this guy and this guy can be supported as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take the backing off and get this onto our belly band. Okay, I lightly tapped it. I want to make sure that there are no extra adhesive marks sticking out. So that goes like this. Now I'm pushing it down so it sticks. And now I'm going to go ahead and trim this up. Right around these words. And I will put these up on mini dimensionals. I should be able to get 2 of these on here. I could cut down one of the other ones and that would have worked just fine as well. Okay, so this one is going to be here for you, right through the center there. And now let's cut out our always. I am going to cut around this wonderful, fun, flourishy always. All right, so that is that fussy cutting. So again, I'm going to use 2 more of my minis. And we're going to add this on. Let's see, right here. All right, so that is the belly band. Let's go ahead and put that on. I have backings and little pieces everywhere. All right, so I'm going to slip this in here. And it's going to look just like this. Let's hold that up a little closer so you can see. And now, of course, we're going to add those sparkle gems with our Shy Shamrock. And they look really great against the dark blue. Get my putty on the top here. So I'm going to add them down here. And then I'm going to add one. I think I'm going to put one on this other side over here just to balance that out. So there is our card. Now, you can also zhuzh it up just a tiny bit more. So we're going to grab a little bit of Wink of Stella. And I'm going to add a little bit of this to the very center of these flowers. Just adding a little tiny bit of sparkle to the centers. And of course you could add even more if you wanted your entire flower done. However, whatever floats your boat, right? Right, so here is this one. Now, this is a paper that is old, and I use this. I'm sure you recognize it from some of my photos. So there is a nice background. I will probably use this paper some more for all the other photos that I'll start doing. You'll see when Stampin' Up! Changes some background looking papers, that's when I'll change the photo backdrop for my photos. All right, let's see. I have survived 5 days of fun folds. I hope you have had some inspiration. Remember, we have 2 ways to do today's card. You can be nice and super simple fun fold, and you can be a little more extravagant if you have a gift card to tuck inside and alter it for a gift-giving experience. Okay. Again, I'm so grateful for you, thankful for you to stop by. Some of you have liked, given hearts, commented that you've watched the replay. I am so grateful that there are people out there looking for inspiration and that I can give you a teeny tiny bit of that. There are so many of us out there that are offering inspiration. So I just want to make sure you know that I'm grateful. I'll see you next week on Wednesday night. Have a great weekend.